Halt and Catch Fire, the show that nobody watched become everybody's favorite. Only one episode broke 1 million viewers. 1. In 4 seasons spanning 40 episodes across 4 years on a major cable network, Halt and Catch Fire never found an audience while it was alive. Yet by the time it ended in October 2017, critics ranked it among the greatest shows of the 2010s. This is the story of a television show that became a masterpiece in failure, and what that failure actually reveals about how we measure success. June 1, 2014. AMC launched Halt and Catch Fire, a period drama about the personal computer revolution. The premise was specific: starting in 1983, follow 3 people: Joe MacMillan, a conman entrepreneur played by Lee Pace; Gordon Clark, an engineer played by Scoot McNairy; and Cameron Howe, a teenage programming prodigy played by Mackenzie Davis, as they attempt to reverse engineer the IBM PC and build a competitor called the Giant. The show was created by Christopher Cantwell and Christopher C. Rogers. This was their first television job. They wrote the pilot as a calling card, hoping to land work as writers on other shows. Instead, AMC greenlit their series. The network self-produced it in Atlanta, Georgia, though the story was set in Dallas, the Silicon Prairie, where Cantwell's own father worked as a software salesman in the 1980s. The early reviews were mixed. Many critics called it derivative. It felt like Mad Men transplanted to a server room. The first episode aired. Slightly over 1 million people watched. Then the audience evaporated. By season 2, the show shifted focus. The Giant failed. Cameron and Gordon's wife Donna, played by Carrie Bish, launched Mutiny, an early online community platform. The show moved forward in time and geography, tracking the web's emergence in the early 1990s. Seasons 3 and 4 expanded further. Joe ventures into his own ventures. The final season pivots to web search engines. The timeline spans more than a decade of actual tech history, compressed into 40 hours of television. Throughout its run, ratings stayed low. The show never built momentum in real time. Yet something was happening in the background. Each season, critics reassessed. Each season, the critical reception improved. By the finale in October 2017, the narrative had completely reversed. This was no longer a failed show, it was a cult object, a show ahead of its own audience. By 2022, Rolling Stone ranked it the 55th greatest television series of all time. Not the 55th greatest drama. The 55th greatest series, period. They polled 46 actors, writers, producers, and critics. None of them had watched it live. Here's what actually happened. Halt and Catch Fire was a show built on a premise that required patience, a willingness to watch failure, and understanding of decade-spanning arcs. It was made for streaming audiences and critics, not for cable television in 2014. The real failure wasn't the show. It was the distribution model. AMC demanded immediate ratings. Cantwell and Rogers were building something that would only be understood in retrospect, literally mirroring the subject matter. The personal computer revolution wasn't recognized as revolutionary while it was happening. IBM thought they were selling business machines. They didn't understand they were enabling an industry that would displace them. The web wasn't understood as transformative in 1993. It was a curiosity. The show understood this. It was structured around compound growth, where choices made in Season 1 only reveal their weight in Season 3. The problem: television economics don't reward that. Cable networks in 2014 needed immediate audience capture. Streaming platforms do not. Netflix would have greenlit this show in 2014. AMC shouldn't have, but they did, because Cantwell and Rogers got lucky. The network gave them room to make a show ahead of its audience, then acted confused when the audience wasn't there yet. The second hidden truth: Halt and Catch Fire succeeded precisely because it failed commercially. Its lack of popularity allowed it creative freedom. There were no sponsorship demands. There was no demographic targeting. The creators made the show for people who would watch it later, not for the Nielsen boxes in 2014. That freedom is why it's now considered great. The lesson isn't about television. It's about timing and distribution. A product that perfectly matches its era's infrastructure can fail if the market structure can't see the value. Halt and Catch Fire was a streaming-era show distributed on cable television. It had all the right elements, the writing, the acting, the scope, but the mechanism for reaching its actual audience didn't exist yet. By 2019, when streaming had become the dominant viewing mode, the show was already over. Its audience eventually found it. They just found it in a place where its creators couldn't benefit from their own foresight. The tragedy wasn't that the show was bad. It was that the delivery system was 3 years ahead of the infrastructure required to understand why it was good.